Hello and welcome to Bub's World. I'm your host Bub. Today we're going to get into my haul from the Lexington Comic and Toy Convention 2024. Today we're going to get into the comics that I picked up. We'll do the games and collectibles and all that stuff at a later time. So without further ado, let's see how I did.
You're watching Bub's Comics, Bub.
All right. So first off, I just want to say a fantastic convention. It was awesome. Had a great time. Met up with some good friends. Had a ball. Was there 3 out of the 4 days. Thursday night was comic night, so I did the bulk of my comic hunting that night. Friday, I took my son to the convention and we hung out all day. We went to a concert that night. Had a great time. Saturday, I took my wife and 2 of the young kids from our family there and had a ball that day too. And on Sunday I rested. So that's what it's all about. So let's make me small and get to the comic haul. Oh, there he is. All right. So first off, I only collected 1 signature and this is it. It is Cap 110 with the great Jim Steranko signature. So I just picked this book up a few days before the convention. I had it ship in. Super pleased with it. I wanted to get a nice copy. I've seen this copy for the price I was wanting to pay for some time, but I wanted to get the best copy for that price I could. Finally found a good one. And the quick history behind this book is that I had this book once in my possession, if you will. Not this exact copy, of course. But early on in my collecting days, I was frequenting a local comic shop. Doesn't exist anymore. And I told them, hey, it's my first time I'm going to the Lexington Comic and Toy Convention. They were like, oh, that sounds great. We're not going to be able to go. I was like, I can't believe you're going. We had something come up, whatever. I was like, okay, well, do you have anything you want me to take? I think there's going to be some pretty good creators there. They were like, yes. Take this Cap 110, get it signed by Steranko. He's going to be there. So I did. So that was my first time meeting Jim Steranko, who's an awesome, just a gem of a person. And so I got that book signed. Well, ever since then, of course, it got signed, it got slabbed, it got, given back to the shop. They said thanks, basically. And I always kind of wish that I had that same book for my collection. So I have a lot of Steranko signatures in my collection, but I wanted to have this one specifically on this book. And I'm not trying to be morbid or anything, saying it's the last time I'll ever see him or the last time I'll ever do a signature, but he's getting up there as far as creators go. He's still very sharp. He's still with it, and he's still Jim Steranko. But he's getting up there. So I wanted to make sure that I got this book signed by him now, and then in the future, I probably won't get too many more signatures because I have a ton of them. So I'll get like prints or stuff like that. Whatever he's got going on, I'll still continue to support him. But as far as the signature goes, I wanted to get this on this book while I still could. So, all right. Oh, here's my vendor badge, or not my vendor, my VIP badge. Next year, I believe I'm going to do a media pass. So that'll be the last time I do the VIP deal. All right. Next up, I got this from my good buddies at the Bunky Brothers. First book I picked up of the convention. And here is Weird Science. I'm sorry, Buzzard Brothers, not Bunky Brothers. Buzzard Brothers. I get those confused. Weird Science number 12. Great Wally Wood cover. Check that out. Good stuff. That's good wood, as they say. All right. Glad to have that one. It's in pretty decent shape. I mean, I was surprised. Worked them over a little on the price, but that's just what I do. But very pleased to have it and at a super fair deal. Very, very, very happy to have that book. Always want to pick up a nice Golden Age sci-fi book while I'm there. Something on my want list, which this was. And something, the Golden Age last year blew my mind at this convention. It was already, at the time that I went last year, it was the best Golden Age convention I had been to. It had a ton. It seemed like every other booth had a Golden Age box. Then, of course, I went to Heroes Con, and that is definitely the best Golden Age convention. But then this one, it had stepped down a notch. There were tons of dealers that had no Golden Age, and And you know, the typical thing where you'll have a dealer and you ask him, do you have any Golden Age? And they'll say, no, I didn't bring any of that stuff. It's at the shop. Well, why the hell would you do that? Like, who goes to a convention this big that's this expensive? Because this convention is a little too expensive. But you know, whatever. Like, why would you not bring your Golden Age, which has some of the highest prices on there, and try and sell it to recoup the cost? I don't understand that. It pisses me off every time, and it pissed me off this time. I got that excuse a lot. Then I got the excuse that, oh, well, you know, I can't sell that stuff here. Well, what are you talking? Come here all the time. I'm right here. I would have bought what you had, maybe, if you had good stuff at a fair price. Anyway, next up, and this is a little bit of a spoiler because this has got to be the steal of the haul, the absolute steal of the con for me. So some of you may not know the value of this book. I encourage you to look it up at your leisure. There's a link down below to mycomicshop.com. If you've never been there, check it out, click the link, see what's going on, and look up this book and see how much it costs, because it's a great resource and a great way to buy comics. But here is 4-color 173 and a pretty spiffy copy of it, I might add. Yeah, it's got some cracks here and there, but this sucker's like from 1947, maybe? I'm trying to remember. But it goes back there. So the significance of this book is that it's the first Flash Gordon comic, especially in the Dell series, that had original stories. So up until this point, Flash Gordon was just reprints of the comic strip. So to get an actual Flash Gordon written comic series, this is your book. So this is, for a lot of people, considered one of the first Flash Gordon comics, because it's not reprints of the comic strip. This is a real actual story written for a comic book. So that's pretty cool. I'm embarrassed to say what I got this book for. I paid so little for it. I paid $20 for this book. $20 for this book. This book easily, in the condition it's in, I'd say it's easily $100 book, maybe $150. In the condition it's in. A little bit better condition, $200, $300, $350 easily. And if it was slabbed and got a decent grade, easily $300 book. So there you go. And I stole it. I'm telling you, I stole it. And I couldn't believe it. And you know, one of my favorite things to do at a convention is, after I've bought a book, then I go to the other booths. I saw this book at the convention 4 times. 4 times. And the lowest other price that I saw it for was $150. And it was a rag. Didn't look half as good as this book. So yeah, absolutely stole this book. Glad to have it. Super nice vendor, dealer I've dealt with 100 times before. He's a really nice guy. His prices are always fair. And you start to learn certain vendors, like this guy, he doesn't value, I say, low grades, right? So I've learned the vendors that don't value low grades. They're my favorite vendors, because I value the heck out of a low grade Golden Age book. And a lot of these vendors, once it drops like below the 3.0 mark, they're like, nah, I just get this moved along. You know, I didn't pay much for it. I'm not going to get much for it and move it along. And Bub's over there, I'm scooping them up, man. I'm scooping them all up. So there you go. Here's a nice Black Cat, number 25. I always wanted a Black Cat on the scooter or the motorcycle. I always wanted one. It's got some, you know, some stars there. Good stuff. So nice Lee Elias cover. Always wanted a Black Cat on her motorcycle. So now I got the darling of comics, Black Cat number 25. Just picked that up. Now next, I have one of my EC grails that I've been after. EC Comics, Golden Age, right? This is a Mad magazine, if you will, but not magazine. So back in the beginning, Mad was comics, not magazines. And to avoid the code, right? The Comics Code Authority, they switched to magazine format to avoid the code. But originally they were comics. And here we have a nice Harvey Kurtz Mad Magazine or Mad Comics number 4. Humor in the jugular vein. And I've been after this book for a long time. I had a reprint copy, one of the Gladstone reprints. It was even rough. But I've never had an actual copy of this book. And it's so funny. Of all the books that I picked up, I've wanted this one the longest. I look for it every time I go to a convention, and I've never seen it for a fair price. And this person had it for such a fair price, I couldn't turn it down. I just scooped it up. Tales calculated to drive you mad. Mad number 4. I'd say only Mad number 1 is above this cover, but I just love this cover. Kill me, don't be absurd. So we got a cannon pointed at her. What makes you think anyone wants to kill me? There's a gun on a string. So if she crosses the string, it will automatically fire the gun. Somebody's throwing a knife at her. There's a snake on a stick. There's a spear. Look, there's a guy driving. He's going to run her over. There's a gun barrel coming out of the storm drain. There's a booby trap there. If she steps on that pedestal, then it's going to explode the dynamite. Someone's rolled out a bomb, and someone's going to pull a manhole cover out from under her, and she's going to fall to spikes. Oh, unless we forget the noose and the safe about to fall on her head. So all this while she's saying, now I think that's everything. You all tell me in the comments below, did I miss anything? But I think that's all the death traps headed this woman's way. And of course she's oblivious, but boy, doesn't she look good doing it. Just great stuff. Fantastic. I can't believe I got this book. I've wanted it for so long. I'm super excited. All right. Next up, one of my favorite publishers, because it's so tough to get some of these books in the Golden Age. And again, I'm not complaining. There was plenty of Golden Age to satisfy me. If you're hunting Golden Age, I would say this con is definitely one you can go to, and you'll score books. There'll be plenty of books that you'll be happy with. However, it just wasn't overwhelming with Golden Age. It wasn't overflow. But I've been to most conventions you go to. If you're looking for any Golden Age, you're not going to get anything. You're lucky if you have your pick of 1 or 2 books. And at this convention, there was plenty of Golden Age to satisfy any collector. Avon, one of the tougher publishers to hunt, because they're always in such rough condition and there's so few of them. But this is Eerie number 8. Look at that. Isn't that great? So much going on with this book. But obviously the master of Zormland Castle, he has captured himself out of the pit there. 2 women in bondage and a very rare blue dress. A very rare blue dress distress. And the only reason that you're getting blue dress distress is because red dress distress was already taken. Look at that. The guy shooting him in the shoulder or the arm from the opening there to the cave. Isn't this great? Oh my goodness. Bit of glue or something from an old label. Looks like it got peeled off. Looks like a shipping label. I may work on that, but honestly, it doesn't bother me too bad. A little bit of writing on the cover doesn't bother me either. The image is perfect, and that's what I'm after. So good. Got it for a great deal. Couldn't pass it up. Very, very happy with that book. Next up, got a little grease pencil action. You guys know what I like to collect. So here's a little bit of this. It was a great convention. I picked up all kinds of stuff that I like. I got space stuff. I got humor stuff. I got some superhero stuff. I got some keys, some Golden Age keys, if you will. Well, you know there was going to be some good girl Schomburg art thrown in here. Here's Thrilling Comics number 69. Excuse me. Yet another book that I saw multiple times. Sometimes the conventions are just like that. You walk in and you see the same book 10 times. This book I saw 4 times, and I bought it the 4th time I saw it and negotiated the price and got it for half what everybody else had it. Just kept working on it. So just because you see a book and you like it doesn't mean you got to pull the trigger. If you're not comfortable with the price, keep looking. You might see the book 3 or 4 more times that day. And how angry would I have been with myself if I had seen the book for $400 and pulled the trigger instead of waiting till the end of the day and getting it for less than a quarter of that. I would have been so mad. Got a little bit of grease pencil, but it looks kind of like a date stamp, so it'll probably get left. Alex Schomburg doing some great work on Thrilling Comics number 69. All right, next up, some more Golden Age. Here is Dick Tracy number 63. You guys know I'm working on a Dick Tracy run, Harvey, specifically Dick Tracy, Golden Age. So pre-code Dick Tracy, Harvey is what I'm after. I'll start dipping some into the Dell run that happens before this. This is kind of like Dick Tracy Volume 2, if you will, and the Volume 1 is in Dell. But yeah, number 63 needed this for the run. Another one in the books. Some great stuff going on there. He's getting shot at in the groin, it looks like. He's jumping through a window. There's rats everywhere. It's all kinds of crazy stuff. Looks like maybe they're making fur coats out of rats and he's catching them. That's going to be my guess. It's a rat fur coat racket. Okay. Forgive me as I leave the Golden Age. That's my Golden Age haul. We got a couple of more modern books to show off. Here is The Tick, number 1. Got this for $10. Can you believe it? $10 from one of the great Golden Age dealers there. Picked this up for $10, and I'll just go out and say it. This is not the first appearance of the Tick. I know I've said it before. The first appearance of the Tick has a white background, and it's called Tick Special Edition. This is the Smash first issue, which is a reprint with just a couple of changes, but mostly a faithful reprint of the first appearance of Tick in comics, which is Tick Special Edition. Before that, he was basically in a newsletter in a shop for New England Comics. So there you go. Ed Ludland, Tick number 1. Did not have a Tick number 1. I have a first appearance of the Tick Special Edition. I have it, but I didn't have a Tick number 1. Now I do. Very excited. All right. Next up, we got... I try to always pick up at least one, vendor type book or independent book or independent artist and help out a little bit, do something, to help the creators out. Well, when I saw this, I felt like they were doing me a favor. Here is Tibby and her time traveling psychedelic mushrooms. Look at that. Now, is that a Bub book or what? That is 100% a Bub book. And no, my camera isn't fuzzy. That's some of the psychedelic mushrooms working on you. Look at that. Is that not awesome? So good. So good. Great stuff by this artist. And I had to pick it up, look it up, get you. It was a Kickstarter or something he said, or something like that. Picked it up, got a print along with it. I'll show in another haul. Super happy to have it. The last book I picked up was going through the boxes of a dealer that I had already been by twice and looked through his stuff. I kind of do that. I go wall books first. Then if there's a Golden Age specific box, I hunt that box and then I leave. And I do that at all the vendors through the whole convention. Then I make another pass through and I start looking in the keys and other wall books box, right? The standard, that's going to be more Silver Age, Bronze Age, stuff like that. So I look through that, and then when that's all said and done, I kind of look through the magazines. Well, this was hiding in a magazine bin, and it's the Betty Page 3D picture book with the introduction by Dave Stevens. And looks like, just from judging on it, oh, and it does still have the glasses. So it's got the glasses. It's got a nice intro by Dave Stevens there. Look at that. Very cool. Still has the glasses and page quality cream. And there you have it. That's it. The Betty Pages 3D picture book is what finishes it off. What a haul. What a convention. A little overpriced for my taste. But if you can afford it and if you can swing it to come to this convention, go on Thursday night. Thursday night is the comic night. There are no celebrities there that day. There's none of that stuff. Most of the comic creators are there, and you can get signatures, you can get sketches, you can get artwork. you can have the first crack at all the books. I always say it's the best books you get are the first day. You get your best books the first day. You might get your best deals on the last day of the convention when people are more willing to work with you, but you get your pick the first day. And if anything is underpriced significantly, like that Flash Gordon was, then that's your chance to pick it up is the first day, because it won't still be there on the last day. So there you go. That's it. About 20 minutes. Hope y'all enjoyed that. We'll catch you next time in Bub's World. Remember to read a comic. Oh man, who should it be? Oh, it's gotta be Mad. Read a comic and don't apologize for the glare. Bye-bye.
Now subscribe, you egg-sucking pieces of gutter trash. Now.